We didn't start how we wanted to. Obviously, the turnovers hurt. And, I take all the blame for that. Just those early turnovers swing the momentum of the game. And then,
in what was a crushing Super Bowl 59 defeat for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles dominated the game, clinching a resounding 40-22 victory at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. While the scoreline suggests a relatively close game, the truth is that the Eagles outclassed the Chiefs from start to finish, leaving little doubt that they were the superior team on the day. Kansas City's hopes of achieving a historic third consecutive Super Bowl win were dashed early in the game. The Eagles came out of the gates firing, building a commanding 24-0 lead by halftime. Kansas City's offense struggled to get anything going, managing just 23 total yards and only 1 first down by the break. Their struggles were compounded by costly turnovers, with quarterback Patrick Mahomes throwing 2 interceptions, one of which was a pick six, and fumbling a third time in Chiefs territory. Mahomes, who has long been considered one of the league's elite quarterbacks, took full responsibility for the loss after the game, stating, "I take all the blame for that. I didn't play my standard, and I have to be better the next time." Despite the harsh self-assessment, Mahomes was under constant pressure from the Eagles' defense throughout the night. He was sacked a career-high 6 times, and Philadelphia's defensive line generated a staggering 16 total pressures without sending a single blitz. As a result, Mahomes was forced into making hasty decisions, which contributed directly to the turnovers and his below-average performance. Philadelphia's defense, led by defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon, was relentless, showcasing why they're considered the top defensive unit in the league. The Eagles' front four, which includes standout pass rushers like Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, wreaked havoc on the Chiefs' offensive line. Chiefs tackle Jawan Taylor acknowledged the challenge, saying they were getting around the ball, trying to create as much pressure on the quarterback as possible. They had a great night tonight. The Chiefs' offensive line performance was reminiscent of their struggles in Super Bowl 55, where Mahomes was similarly under duress and had little time to execute plays. This time, however, the Eagles' defense took full advantage, forcing Kansas City into a hole they could never escape. The Chiefs were outgained 179-23 in the first half, and despite some offensive adjustments in the second half, they could not recover. In the second half, things only worsened for the Chiefs. With just under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter, Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts threw a 46-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver Devonta Smith, pushing the lead to a commanding 34-0. This touchdown seemed to crush any hopes of a Chiefs comeback. As if things weren't bad enough, Mahomes was stripped of the ball midway through the fourth quarter, leading to a field goal by the Eagles, further widening the score to 40-6. The game was effectively over with nearly 3 minutes still left on the clock, and Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni was even treated to a celebratory Gatorade shower. Kansas City coach Andy Reid, who has guided the Chiefs to multiple Super Bowl appearances, was not immune from criticism. After the game, he offered a somber assessment of his team's performance. "We didn't really play well in any of the phases and didn't coach good enough. We'll learn from this." Reid emphasized that the team would use the painful loss as a learning experience and strive to improve going forward. Mahomes, who was visibly upset in the post-game press conference, added, "I threw 2 interceptions. I threw a pick six and I threw a pick that they returned to the 14-yard line. They scored immediately after. When you give a team 14 points, especially a really good football team, a Super Bowl football team, not a lot of good things happen." The quarterback's emotional words illustrated the weight of the loss, which he described as one of the most painful of his career. "Anytime you lose a Super Bowl, it's the worst feeling in the world. They stick with you the rest of your career," Mahomes said, vowing that this defeat would fuel him to be better in future seasons. Despite Mahomes taking the lion's share of the blame, it was clear that the Chiefs' struggles went far beyond their star quarterback. The offensive line, which had been a focal point of improvement throughout the season, faltered dramatically in the biggest game of the year. This performance will undoubtedly serve as a reminder for Kansas City to continue reinforcing their offensive line moving forward if they hope to maintain their status as a championship contender in the future. With this loss, Mahomes' Super Bowl record now stands at 3-2, which, while still impressive, leaves a bitter taste after the Chiefs' failure to achieve a historic three-peat. The defeat also serves as a reminder that in the high-stakes environment of the Super Bowl, no team can afford to have a weak link, especially against a well-balanced and highly motivated team like the Philadelphia Eagles.